he was a good dancer. He was a better dancer than I was. So that was fun. And then when we were out in Washington with the after we were married, I met Jimmy Collins and his wife, and I thought, golly, I used to go out with him, but I never told his wife. I don't know whether he remembered, but he never mentioned it either. But I was so surprised to see him again. He was a great guy. Yeah, so he had a nice wife too, so that was fun. I met him when Loretta said um, she worked at Oppenheim Collins downtown, a ladies' garment store, like and shoes and whatever, and she said, there's this friend of mine. He goes to Canisius College, and he sells shoes at Oppenheim. So she said, "How about I fix up a date?" So I said, "Oh, okay." So he came out to the house on the streetcar one night, and Bus answered the door, and he came up and he said, "Gina, he's got red hair." So I started to go out with him, and I kept going out with him for maybe about a year and a half. And then we broke off for a while. And then it was about maybe almost a year later, I was walking up one street. Oh, by that time, I had a job downtown. I had left Barman's and I had a job downtown. And I was walking up one of the streets, and he was coming from the law school, and he had graduated from Canisius College, and he was going to law school. And I met him, and he was surprised to see me, and he said something about there's a dance, the school's having a dance in a couple of weeks, would you like to go? So we picked up again then, and we never, we just kept on dating. Yeah, so I thought that the little affair was over and done with, but it wasn't, because I was still thinking about him. So we went out, and he'd take the streetcar. He didn't have a car. I didn't have a car. Nobody had cars.
So then when he was drafted into the service.
Then when he belonged to the National Guard, Caitlin, and so they used to go away for 2 weeks every summer, and he was a sergeant then. And then when he graduated from law school, and then he was a first lieutenant when they went away in fall of 1940.
Then did you think it was you were breaking up?
No, no. He knew we were still a do, So I went. They went to Fort Dix, and I went to visit him one weekend. He met me in I took a train, and he met me in New York City, and he borrowed somebody's car, and we drove to Fort Dix, which is just in New Jersey, not too far a trip, And he made arrangements for me to stay at the Officers Club, and I stayed at the Officers Club. And after we were married, he said, a couple of the guys gave me, they said, you can use our apartment, but he said, no way. That was not the thing to do. I never would have thought about it. So different today, completely different, But anyway, I had a good weekend, and then I was going with another young man. I was going with Jimmy, and Jimmy worked for the Courier. And when Tommy had his uncle bring me a ring, we were engaged, and I had to call Jimmy and tell him that. Jimmy said, I think, and Jimmy never got married, so, but I wouldn't have married him. I just that wasn't that feeling, when you find the one you want to marry, right? right. Yeah. So we got married. I went out there and we got married. I got on a train 3 days and went to Fort Lewis, Washington, and we were married that afternoon, and that was it. Then he was in the Army then for, 42 till 45. So I was out there, and I was back in Buffalo. Then I was out there again, and then we were in Arkansas. We were in Oklahoma. When they were shifted again, and I was pregnant with Terry, so I came back to Buffalo. And then after Terry was born, the 174th disbanded. July of that summer, Terry was born in August. July of that summer was the peace treaties, And so then bit by bit Tommy was back at Fort Dix and they were releasing bit by bit at a time. So he came home and started the law business for about $25 a week. It was tough. But $25 went farther in those days, you know. So it wasn't bad. We stayed with my mom with two children for a couple of years, and then I said it's time we get out of here, Tommy. You know we gotta. So we bought a house, $100 down, no deposit other than the $100 down. Bought the double on Amherst Street and moved into the lower flat, and had people upstairs. I think that double was $8,000, and we had tenants upstairs, the Hitchcocks, nice people, an older couple, and I think they were paying us $35 a month rent, and I think our mortgage was maybe like $60 a month. And I said, after we were there for maybe about half a year, I said to Tommy, you know, we should raise the rent maybe $5 a month. He didn't have the heart to raise it. So I think I went and spoke to them, no problem, you know. So we got $5 more a month rent. And so it's just so completely different, Andrew. Well, that was the 40s, you know. This is 2013. It's a long time ago. Things changed a lot. How well we know, right? Yeah.
I'm going to stop us for 1 second, so I'm just going to let